Everybody has to do what makes them happy. What does not make me happy is knowing that so and so X has another album coming out, or another single, or another song, or another something else, and I have to be interested in it or make a comment in it, or else I make myself irrelevant to the conversation. I think there's other conversations to be had, because I think ultimately how Gwyneth Paltrow, which this is the fourth video because it sticks with me every single time, how Gwyneth Paltrow gets to play the Grand Ole Opry when there's better artists sleeping on their couches and eating beans and rice right now in Nashville. And back then when she was on the Grand Ole Opry, how that happens is you play into this culture of... And the reason this comes up is because Miranda Lambert just released her new album. It's quite the topic. I just don't feel like I want to be like chasing topic. So-and-so released an album. Who cares? So-and-so released a single. So-and-so did this or that, or, you know, whatever. Unless it's something that really strikes me personally, in the sense that I care about it, I really don't want to be talking about it. Because at the end of the day, nothing that any of these people do materially affect my life. My life is pretty good. It's not so bad. It doesn't materially affect me what happens with other artists or other people or other things. Now, there are some things like the Kanye album or Luke Bryan's terrible performance at the Grand Ole Opry or Kane Brown, you know, like the videos that I've released in the last few weeks that I just want to talk about. And so ultimately, maybe that's what the Nashville hype becomes, just me talking about stuff. And maybe it's just going to be short clips like this, or maybe I turn it into what it was originally going to be, which would be like a full podcast. You know, maybe an hour long radio show, basically, which is what I used to have when I was in Florida. And I had the number one show, basically, 18 to 34 demographic from Tampa to Miami. All Arbitron rating. You get a book and they tell you what your ratings are. It's kind of like Nielsen for TV. It's actually the same thing. It's like television, but it's radio. They tell you what's going on demographically and who your audience is and all this other stuff. And so I thought that maybe the new Nashville hype, the Nashville hype, would be that a 1 hour show, and it might still be that. I'm still talking to other people and organizations, businesses, and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, I don't think anything in the entire universe is going to be successful unless it's something that I care about or am passionate about. And that's not an arrogant statement at all. You look at all the most successful radio personalities or people writing books or YouTube, their channel, whatever it is, it's always people who care deeply about what it is that they're doing. And they don't care what anybody else thinks about what they're not doing or not saying. And so at the end of the day, I mean, culture is going to be what culture is. And I could come on here all day and comment about what culture is or isn't, and who released this song or that song, or this production or that production, or this song or whatever. And at the end of the day, I don't have any passion about that. And that's not to knock anybody. Again, I always have to say this. I always feel like I have to say this. That's not to knock anybody that is doing that kind of stuff. And the reason this comes up is because Miranda Lambert just released her new album. It's quite the topic. Already, I've seen several places that have given a review and what they think, and some are blog form, some are YouTube form, some are, I don't know, website form, I guess. I don't know. It's all blog anyway, but news form, Um, Listening to and I love Miranda Lambert. I don't think anything bad about her. I'm not saying anything bad about her. I just listening to another album of hers and trying to explain to people what it is I think about the album, and you know. And I was never that guy anyway. Nashville Hype, the original, was never that thing anyway. I mean, sure, I would listen to albums and be like, oh yeah, that's really good. I'm not going track by track and song by song or whatever. If I find something interesting in the entirety of the album, so and so that I really like or know personally or worked on this album or something like that, that interests me. I would much rather talk to somebody like a Rich Redmond who is in the studio. He's drummed on demos of mine in the past. He has his own podcast now, The Rich Redmond Show, which is doing pretty well. With another friend of mine, Jim, I would much rather talk about a person like that just recorded on Jason Aldean's album and has been on in Jason's band for however many years, 20 years or something. I don't know. I knew the guy long before that anyway. Point being is, I'd rather talk about that as an aspect of an album than to, when Jason Aldean releases his new album, give you, the audience, or whoever watches this, the 8 people in the audience, as Jerry House used to say, and I love Jerry House. He really formed my entire opinion of radio locally and what it should be and how it should be done. But I would rather talk about somebody like a Rich Redmond, a personal friend, on an album or a new album than the entirety of an album. I don't care to share my opinion with what an album is. Kanye is a different kind of animal. You got to be a fan of Kanye, and I said this the other day in my review, half review, kind of, and that's why I even named it kind of, sort of, somewhat a review. It's not a review. It's not a track by track. I could give you a track by track. I could tell you exactly what I think, track by track, the entire Kanye. I'm not doing that. I thought it was great. That's really all you need to know. If you're a Kanye fan, you're going to like it. I just don't want to review albums, follow the news, have to keep up with the latest release, and act like I'm either really excited about it or this song is not good or skip that track. Who cares? It's not going to materially affect my life and what I would like to do. That's not arrogant. That's not going to find me a big audience, I guess. I don't know. I had a huge audience before. I've had big audiences. I don't even care about that. I would much rather, just like you in your own personal life, make myself happy. And if you like what I do and you want to keep watching it and subscribe, comment, all of that, you're more than welcome to do it. And if you, within 30 seconds, you go, man, this guy from Nashville Hype, the Nashville Hype is like, I don't get it and I don't want to watch. I'd be more than happy to let you move on with life. I mean, move on. And that's not even an argumentative thing. That's me just saying everybody has to do what makes them happy. What does not make me happy is knowing that so-and-so X has another album coming out or another single or another song or another something else, and I have to be interested in it or make a comment in it, or else I make myself irrelevant to the conversation. I think there's other conversations to be had. Who played the drums on that song? Who was the guitar player, the producer, the songwriter, publisher? Who's the manager and the publicist? There is a lot of machine behind all of this, and I've written about it for a long time, and I've talked about it for a very long time. The red carpets I've been to, the backstage, I've been backstage to everybody. And when I lived in Florida, I was a partner in a bar that had everybody there. And if they weren't there, they were at the arena, and I was on the radio, and I was there too. You know what I mean? Like, none of that really matters. What's interesting to me personally is things that are not commercially viable. Let's say the latest release of a song, because I think ultimately how Gwyneth Paltrow, which this is the fourth video because it sticks with me every single time, how Gwyneth Paltrow gets to play the Grand Ole Opry when there's better artists sleeping on their couches and eating beans and rice right now in Nashville. And back then when she was on the Grand Ole Opry, how that happens is you play into this culture of this is happening, this is now, whatever. Nashville Hype was not only the blog and the artist discovery, it was also a way for me to use my skills in public relations and marketing to find artists and pump them through the system and help them get record labels, help them get our record deals, managers, publishers, all of that, press. I'd rather just do whatever I want because I'm much happier doing what I want. And I'm sure this Miranda Lambert has a really good CD that just came out. It's got to be good. I've read the headlines that other people that, I would trust to have any kind of an opinion on anything say it's pretty good. Will the Nashville Hype become what I really would like it to be? I've got a format in mind that I've actually been working on for a couple of years. I've got some people in Florida that I've been working with, and I've got people in Tennessee that I've been working with, and putting together this whole thing. It's a work in progress, but it's coming together very quickly. And so I don't know whether or not I want to do it, don't want to do it. It's just all up in the air. But again, what I don't want to do is what I just told you I don't want to do. And so there's that. You got to do stuff for yourself. It can't be all about the machine or work or whatever. I'm not totally into that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. And that's my thoughts for tonight.